What's up, guys? Welcome back to Modern Mining. I get comments all the time from people saying, I understand how to set up the hardware, but how do you set up the software for GPU mining? So today I'm going to do a full breakdown. It's probably going to be a long video on how to set up HIVEOS, how to pick your pool that you're going to mine on, how to set up a wallet where you're going to mine to, and also once you get your HIVEOS installed, how to set your overclocks and then apply your flight sheet to start mining, and where you can monitor your mining profits and select payouts to go to your wallet. We're going to go over all of it in this guide. It's going to be totally comprehensive, so stick with me. If you don't understand the software side of mining, that should change by the end of this video. Let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be using my gaming PC as an example here. It's got an RTX 3080 in it, and really the steps are the exact same between like a gaming PC and a mining rig with like 11 GPUs on it. The software side, the setup is going to be the exact same. So this is what we'll be using in today's tutorial. Assuming you already have your GPU mining rig built, or you already have your PC built that you want to mine on, the main thing that you're going to need is an external SSD. And I like to also use this little USB converter that allows you to just plug in this SSD to a USB port instead of actually having to plug it in with the SATA cable and the power supply. What we're going to be doing is putting HIVEOS on this SSD. I'll have links to both of these items down below. I think ADATA is basically the cheapest option you can get, and the quality really doesn't matter too much when you're setting it up for a mining rig. All right, so first things first, you need to actually set up a HIVEOS account through their website. So if you Google HIVEOS and go to this Hive on the HIVEOS.farm, go there and basically create an account like you see up here. So once you have your farm set up, you obviously won't have any of this stuff here, but you will be able to go into your actual farm, but you won't have any workers here. So what you need to do is you actually need to create a new worker, and a new worker is basically the same thing as a new rig. So I've got 4 rigs, so I've got 4 workers. To create a new worker, you're going to go to this plus up here, and you're going to do add worker. And then you're going to do add rig. We're doing a GPU rig. And then you're going to do install HIVEOS to your rig drive. That's this drive right here we were talking about. So you'll select this one, and then this will be Linux, because that's what HIVEOS is. It's a Linux operating system. And then you're going to go ahead and download this image right here. So I'll click download, and we'll wait for that to download. And we can go through this step while we wait for that to download. So the next thing you're going to do is download this Balena Etcher app. And if we click this, it should pull it up directly, and you can download the Etcher. I've already got it installed, I believe. So what this Balena Etcher does is it's going to let us take our HIVEOS image that we're downloading right now and then flash it onto our SSD so that we have our HIVEOS operating system on our SSD that we're going to plug into our rig. So download this as well. And then this step right here is just what I was just saying. We're going to plug our SSD into the computer, and then we're going to flash that HIVEOS image onto the drive. So let's wait until these are complete, and I'll show you how to do that. Now's a great time to mention, if you'd like to support this channel, I just became a YouTube partner, the first tier of it. So I now have channel memberships. I've got 2 tiers, a $3 and a $6. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a channel member, you can hit that join button below. And for the lower tier, you'll get these cool GPU badges that will appear next to your comments on any of my videos. And for the upper tier, which is the Modern Miner tier, you get access to our VIP Discord, the Modern Mining Club. And basically that Discord is just a bunch of fans in there, including myself, all discussing GPU mining, sharing rig pictures. And I also post all of my crypto moves. So my buys and sells, what coin I'm mining, what hardware I'm looking at, buying or selling. So if that's interesting to you guys, I'd really appreciate the support. And I'm trying to get that Discord filled up with people, so let's keep going on the video. Thanks. Okay, looks like our download completed, so let's pull that up in File Explorer. And you can see right here we have our new HIVEOS stable image file. And so like this says right here, we need to now open Balena Etcher. And first step, make sure you plug in your drive. So I'm going to plug that in right here. And so mine already comes up as Hive because mine's already flashed with Hive, but I'm just going to rewrite it so we can do this from scratch. So you're going to do flash from file, and you're going to go to your downloads and find that HIVEOS image and open, and then select the target. We're going to go to, this is our ADATA 120 gigabyte drive. That's all you need is 120 gigabytes. And really quickly, I'm just going to save this rig config file because I'm going to need that whenever I go back to my old drive, but you guys don't need to do that just yet. Okay. So select ADATA as our target drive, select, and now we're going to flash it. So this shouldn't take too long. Looks like it's going to be less than a minute. Okay, looks like it's about to wrap up. Now it has to validate, make sure everything flashed okay. This is a little quicker than the actual flashing itself. Okay, so that is complete as well now. So we can go ahead and close out of Balena Etcher. And let's continue through our HIVEOS prompts here. So if we click next, it says, download the rig.config file and add it to HIVEOS drive root folder. So each rig that you have is going to have a little rig.config file, and this is basically just tells HIVEOS that this is this rig versus a different rig is going to have a different rig.config, and that's why I saved mine off from my other workers so that I can just replace it when I'm done with this. But so we'll hit this download button, and we downloaded our rig.config. Yours will not have this 6 here. That's because I've downloaded about 6 of these. But when we put this into the folder, we'll delete that 6. The next step here is add it to your HIVEOS drive root folder. So if we pull up File Explorer, you can see that, our SSD disappeared. We don't see the new drive that we flashed. And this is a pretty common issue. So if you go down here to Windows and type in partition, create and format hard disk partitions. So this new disk 3, that's the one we just flashed. So we do want to initialize it, hit OK. And then let's look through here. Are any of these 120 gigabytes? It doesn't look like it. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just unplug this and plug it back in. Because what we need to do is we need this drive to pop up, and then we're going to give it a letter so that we can actually see it in the files right here. So that still didn't pop up. Let's try that again. Okay, so I found out what was going on. I had to drag this a little bigger, and now you can see my disk 3. This is the one that we just flashed. So you notice this one is the D drive, this one's the C drive, this one's the F drive. This one doesn't have a letter, so we need to right click on it and do new simple volume. And then just go through the defaults, and it's going to give it a drive E. That's fine. Okay. And that actually wiped it. So let's try to flash that again and see if it pops up. So HIVEOS, select target, ADATA, drive E. Let's flash it and let's see if it pops up this time. Okay, we just flashed it again. So let's see now if we can see this in File Explorer. So sometimes this takes a few times, and I'd like to show you guys the process. So if you run into these issues, it's still not showing up. So let's go back into disk. I don't want to initialize it because that's just gonna wipe it. All right, finally I got it showing up. That process is always weird. I swear on different computers it just does totally different things. What I had to do was basically reflash it 3 times, switching around a bunch of USB slots. It wasn't letting me assign a drive to it without wiping the HIVEOS image that I had just flashed onto it. But if that doesn't work, move it around USB spots. I did some research online and it said to just restart your computer and it should pop up. So that part might suck a little bit, but once you get it showing up here, our next step is to take that rig config file from our downloads, and we're just going to place that directly into the Hive drive itself. And then, like I said earlier, I need to rename this to just rig.config. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is turn this computer off, plug that drive in, and I'll bring the camera behind me so we can just look at the screen while I go through the setup at this point. All right, let's go ahead and shut this down. Turn this back on. And then now is when we'll spam that delete key. And we should get the BIOS pulling up on this top screen momentarily. Just keep pressing it. Okay, so this part's going to depend on your motherboard a little bit, but you basically just want to go to the boot portion, which is right here, and you want to make sure that you select your new 120 gigabyte SSD. So here's my boot options and my boot order. If I hit on the first one, I want to choose ADATA, and now that's in the first position. And then you just hit F10 to save that and hit OK. And now we should start booting into HIVEOS. All right, that's what you want to see, that blue screen for HIVEOS. It's going to do its initial setups and everything. And what we're looking for here is just any error messages. So you can see there, it's installing our NVIDIA drivers. And we've got our 3080 in there. So that looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'll pull up my phone here, because if you're doing this on your main computer, you want to go ahead and download the HIVEOS app. Okay, so if I go to my farm, you can see that this workstation rig is now live. Okay, so I'm back on the main computer now. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to show you guys this on my main computer, but one thing that's weird here is, for me, it just started up the workstation rig again, and I thought it generated a new rig.config, so I thought it would be making a new worker. But for you guys, when you do that, it will create a new worker here. So let's pretend that the founder rig is basically your worker that appeared. So I'm going to go ahead and unapply all the stuff that's happening on this rig right now. So I'm going to stop the miner and act like it's basically just a brand new rig so you guys can go from here. So now that we have HIVEOS installed on our drive, what we need to do is basically decide which coin do you want to mine. So I recommend going to hashrate.no, and let's say that your rig consists of 4 3070s, just as an example. So you can go to this GPU calculator right here, and you can put in here 4 3070s, and then you want to put in your power cost right here. And if you don't know that, just look at your power bill, and it should break down how much you're paying per kilowatt hour. Mine is 11 cents, which is decent, but not great. And then once you hit calculate, it's going to show you all the coins that you can mine, and it's going to list them in order of profitability. So looking at this list, there's a couple things that you can take into account. I like to look at how much power each coin is going to use, because different coins sometimes use different algorithms, and those algorithms themselves use different amounts of power. So I don't like to use the very max power ones just to try to keep my power bill at the end of the month somewhat low. So looking at this list, it looks like Nirmata is 600 watts for 43070, Xano 600 watts. So those are the same because they both use the algorithm ProgPow Z. Then you have Graham here, which uses only 340 watts, so basically almost half as much as those other coins. But then you have Husat here, which is at $4.12. So Husat is the one that we're going to do in this video, but let me show you why I'm not doing Graham. So if you click on Graham, this has a bunch of good information. So you can see Graham's price over the last week or so, the revenue from mining Graham, and then the yield, which is actually how many Graham coins you're getting paid out. So the higher yield, the higher number of actual coins you're getting, but not necessarily more profit, because if those coins are worth less, then the profit is not going to matter there. So the yield is how many of the actual coins you're getting. But what I like to check is I like to go to markets here, and this is going to show you where you can actually sell your mined coins for like USDT, and that way you can either transfer it to Bitcoin or send it to Coinbase to actually cash out into dollars in your hand. But why I don't like Graham is that the only options are MEXC and Ston.5. I've never even heard of this one, but MEXC you can't use in the US without using a VPN, so that's already, I don't really want to mess with that. But I just know that Husat, if we go back to our list and hit calculate again, Husat, if we go to markets, it has TradeOgre, and TradeOgre is my favorite exchange for selling all these coins I mine into coins I actually want to keep, like Bitcoin or Lithium or USDT or anything I want to send to Coinbase to cash out. ZegX is okay as well, but TradeOgre, it works very well with tax software like Coinly. You can just export all your transactions, so that is a big plus in my opinion and why I always use TradeOgre. It's also been around for a long time, so it's a reputable exchange and it's a non-KYC exchange, so you don't need to put in like your personal information. So we're going to be mining Husat, and we've decided that from hash rate and O, so we can expect to be making $1.30 profit a day with 43070s. So what's the next step? Well, now we need to figure out which pool we're going to mine to. So the website that you go to figure this out is miningpoolstats.stream. Right here, you type in the coin that you're wanting to mine, Husat. So right here, you're going to see all the pools that you can mine Husat on. And generally, you want to go with the pool with the highest hash rate. That's generally the best pool or the most reliable pool. In this case, I've never heard of this one, and it looks like it's a Russian pool. So, hey, we can't support those guys. So we're going to go with miningforpeople.com. So if we select on this right here, this is going to take us to the pool itself. It's got to do its verification. And so this is the actual mining pool right here. So once we get a little further, we'll come back to this page. The next step is we need to actually set up our Husat wallet, because for every single coin you're going to mine, you need a wallet and you need to know which pool you're going to mine on. So I'm going to go to TradeOgre. Now that we're in TradeOgre, you'll have to make an account if you don't have one. And make sure you set up two-factor authentication as well. I think you might have to, but make sure you set that up. You want to get a Husat address so you can mine directly to this exchange. And this is my recommended method. If you want to hold it in like a wallet of the coin itself, you can do that. And that's actually probably the better way to do it. But a lot of these smaller coins that I don't plan on holding, I'll just mine them directly to TradeOgre because it makes it super easy. So to get our wallet, we're going to go to deposit, and we're going to type in our coin. Husat is HTN. And then right here is our Husat address. So we're going to copy that. And now we're going to go back into our HIVEOS. So in your HIVEOS, you have this wallets tab right here. And you can hit add wallet. and you want to add your WhoSat wallet. So HTN, address, WhoSat, and then name it. I normally will name it like WhoSat TO for TradeOgre, and then save as a global wallet, and then hit create. I already have one of these, so I'm not going to hit the create button. So if we're pretending that the founder rig is our new rig, and you can see it's not mining, these would be filled out if it was mining. It's just sitting here waiting for our command to start mining. So what you need to do is you need to set up a flight sheet, and a flight sheet is basically what combines the wallet, the pool, and it combines all that information and tells HIVEOS to mine this coin to this pool and this wallet. So we'll click on this flight sheet tab, and then we'll go to flight sheets right here, and you can see add a new flight sheet. So we're going to type in a coin right here. We're going to be mining HTN. And then our wallet, we're going to do WhoSat TradeOgre, the one we just chose. And then our pool, we decided we were going to use mining for people. So we'll select that. And then you want to select the closest one to you. So let's see. We have two options here. I'm going to go ahead and go with the low VARDIF difficulty and then hit apply. And now we need to select our miner. And Regal Miner is the only option here, so we'll select that. And then we'll enter our flight sheet name. So I like to word these as the worker name, which in our case was the founder dash WhoSat dash mining for people. So that way it's somewhat organized of what's actually contained in this flight sheet. So we can go ahead and create that flight sheet. And we've got it right here now. And if we go back to select worker, the founder, then if we go to flight sheet, we can actually see our new flight sheet right here. And if we click this rocket ship, it's going to go ahead and apply. You can see that config spinning right there. And soon we should start seeing our cards pop up in here, and we'll actually start mining. And once that happens, if we go to miningforpeople.com and we take our wallet address, so if we go back to flight sheets, there's a convenient place to just copy your wallet right here. That's our TradeOgre wallet. If we go back to the mining pool and enter our wallet address, search, this is going to show us our mining stats right here. And this is where your coins are going to go. The pool is kind of like the middleman. You mine your coins to the pool, and then the pool pays your coins out to your wallet. So in a little bit, we'll start seeing this update, and we should have some earnings for today. But if we go back to HIVEOS, you can see now that we are officially mining. Let's refresh the page. So we are officially mining right now. But there's one other thing you want to do, because you don't want to be running your graphics cards at stock settings. There's a little bit of overclocks that you need to incorporate to get the best hash rate for the lowest amount of power, and that way the most profitability. Now, overclocking is a scary word for some people, but it's actually extremely easy in HIVEOS. So if we go back to our hashrate.no site, this site's awesome if you guys haven't figured it out yet. And we want to figure out what overclocks we should be using on WhoSat for our 3070 GPUs. So if we go to GPUs up here, and then we type in 3070, we can click on that. And then let's scroll down to where we find WhoSat on here, right here. And you can see overclock settings. So it's actually giving us the overclock settings right here. And even better, it's putting them in the exact format that we need to place them into our miner config sheet. So we're using Regal Miner, so we'll copy this right here. Do it manually just in case. And then we'll go back to our HIVEOS. So just as a reference, without overclocks, and this actually is somewhat overclocked because I had these values sitting in here, but that's not the correct way to do it. So we'll go to flight sheets, and then we're going to go to edit this flight sheet, and then Regal Miner, setup miner config. We want to add in the extra config arguments, paste in those overclocks that we just grabbed. So then we're going to hit apply changes. And how this works, I get a lot of questions on this as well, is if there's only one value, it's going to apply to all your cards. But if you have multiple different cards on a rig, then how you put in different values is with a comma. So if I had different cards, and I have, let's say 4 cards, I would do something like this, where these two, the first card and the last card are the same card, so they have the same number, and the 2 cards in the middle are the same cards, so they have the same number, but you separate all these values with commas. And if they all use the same lock core clock, then I don't need to put 4 values here. If I can just still use that 1470 one value, and it'll apply to all 4 cards. So I'm not going to do that though, because all these can use the same value. So I'll leave that at 200. And just from experience, I know it's actually better to do HUSAT around 280 core clock. So we'll hit apply changes here, update. And this is going to make sure that your GPUs are now using the most power efficient settings to mine these coins. And if I didn't already have these overclocks in here, then you would see my hash rate increase and my power cost decrease, which is a GPU miner's best friend. That's exactly what you want. Higher hash rate for lower power. Let's refresh our mining for people. And let's see, now we can see workers, the founder popped up here, and that's our hash rate. So we know that we're successfully mining to the pool at this point. And then the only other thing you need to change on the pool is you need to set your payout amount. So basically, at how many HUSAT do you want it to be paid out to your wallet? You don't want to do it super often, because then you're paying more transaction fees than you have to. I like to get paid out once every 1 or 2 days. If I'm planning on holding a coin, sometimes I'll only get paid out 1 time a week. But let's try to find on this mining for people where you actually set that, because I've never used this pool before. So checking all these tabs, somewhere there should be like a settings icon. Oh, right here, minimum payout. So right now we're going to get paid out on every 20 HUSAT coins. And I can tell you we're probably going to get like 600 a day. So we definitely don't want to get paid out every 20, or we're going to have 10 payments a day. So if you hit this cog wheel right here, and what you'll have to do is put in your IP address here, and how you find that is just type in what's my IP. I'm not going to do this obviously, but that'll give you your IP address for your home, and then you type in your IP address here, and you can set your minimum payout to whatever you want to set it to, hit save, and then your coins will get paid out at that threshold. So that's about it. That's how you get started mining. You set up a wallet, you set up a pool, and you set up HIVEOS. What you can then do is create multiple flight sheets for different coins. So if we went back to our flight sheets page and we went back to hash rate NO, we could also set up a flight sheet for Chlor, for Nexa, for Pyrin. We could set up a flight sheet for all these coins, and then based on the profitability, if that's what you care about, you could also just care about coin yield. And then you just make these other flight sheets for these other coins using the exact same process, going to mining pool stats to figure out which pool to mine to, going to TradeOgre to set up your wallet, and then you create those additional flight sheets. And when you're on your worker, you can just switch between any of these flight sheets, and then you're mining that coin. It's really that easy. So I hope you guys liked this intro to mining the software side. If you have any questions, let me know. It got a little dicey there with the HIVEOS setup, but that should basically get you the main way there. If you're not already, hit that subscribe button. I come out with all kinds of tutorial videos like this and a lot of kind of updates on my personal farm, so you can learn a lot just from watching those videos. But with that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.